both Sonia close to our trades. The other night we had.
Right, I'll bring her on. I'll bring her on. Here we go. I'll take this off. Move.
Much more of that.
Oh, I know what I've done wrong. Can you? Is that echoing at all?
I don't have an echo on my end. Do you have an echo on yours?
No, I don't. It's just I'm not using. You're coming through my speakers, but I've got my little lapel mic on. See, so so I don't actually need to plug the earphones in.
Oh, isn't that good?
Which is good because if Enzo comes in, Enzo won't need. He'll be able to hear. He'll be able to talk. You know, we'll be able to have a conversation like. Enzo's from Italy. He's just cooking up some pasta now, and he's in the room next to me. He's in the room next to me. So he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. He's not been there for very long. He's been a few weeks. He's been there for a few weeks. Anyway, how's your Christmas been, man?
Busy. I've been just bombed. I had to go to my father's house for Christmas Eve, and then I had my daughters with me for about 4 or 5 days, and then I met them up again on Christmas Day. It's just been really busy. I was actually supposed to do a couple of interviews, and I had to cancel everything. My schedule just got overpacked.
Really?
I had people at my house for like days and days. I'm like, okay, is anybody going home now?
That's the thing about Christmas, isn't it? That's the thing about Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was nice though. You had a good time.
Yeah, I had a really good time. I think I'm going out for New Year's tomorrow, New Year's Eve. I haven't been out to New Year's for many years. I think probably 7 or 8. But I think I'm going to celebrate this year, seeing how I don't know how it's going to be in the next year. I don't know how long this reality is going to continue down this path. Those red skies are coming.
I'll be honest with you. I think that this is next year, 2022. There's going to be some phenomenally big changes. There's going to be. Yeah, I mean, people are waking up now at such a rate.
Oh, Richie, I got to talk to you about this. I had a conversation. Oh, look how I'm dressed. I'm getting ready to go work out with my neighbors. So I figured I'd come on for a little while. We'll be leaving at 8:30 to go work out at the gym. So, of course, I'm in workout clothes. But I had a conversation with Arthur this morning. He's like, how's those timelines looking? And I said, well, let me look into it. I haven't looked into it for a while.
Right.
We are converging. All of the higher timelines are now converging into the mainstream timeline. If anybody's waking up, it's because the higher timelines have now converged with our timeline, and all of a sudden they just have a knowing. They should be having a hard time distinguishing from what they think they know to what this reality is, because all of your shards are combining into one. This is the ascension. And all of a sudden, you're going to have to question your reality. Wait a minute, I thought this was this way, or I thought this was this way, because of all the timelines starting to converge. We're coming up to the precipice point.
This is what they were talking about when they talk about the Looking Glass, Project Looking Glass. They looked down every single timeline. It didn't matter what timeline, it didn't matter what happened, what they did. Everything converged to this one timeline, and that's what it all converged to one point, and they couldn't see past that point. And I think I forget who it was that was saying that they think that time was splintered on 9/11 in 2001. There was some sort of fracture took place there that ended up putting us in a 20-year repeat cycle. It put us into a different timeline, this really negative timeline, but now we're coming back. The timelines are coming back, and that's why apparently there's been some flip-flops with the Mandela effect.
Oh, let me tell you about this. So you know how I always say that we have parallel realities, and those are the timelines, and it's like in a snowflake. So just think of a billion little Earth-like realities in a snowflake, and those are our parallel realities. So like when we came into this, we were shattered, like us being a piece of glass and being shattered onto the ground, and every shard of us is experiencing one of those parallel realities if we're happen to be in that parallel reality, because we're not in all of them.
I mean, the thing is, in a sense, we're all experiencing parallel realities anyway, because of the fact that my perception is different to your perception, so our realities are different to each other. So do you think it was fractured more, like even more?
No, I think what happened is it was fractured a long time ago into this. And I think what's happening now is we've become aware of it because we're starting to pull together like Humpty Dumpty. And everywhere a parallel reality is, an Earth in the snowflake pulls into another reality. It's getting bigger in the snowflake, those little realities. And what's happening is we are becoming aware of things around us, which never was even in our thought pattern 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, because we're being superimposed upon other shards and that's the inner knowing. All of a sudden, you just know this. You don't know why you know it. You just do.
Yeah.
That's because of the shards. When all of this becomes one unit, Gaia becomes single again, whole, we will be whole again. And at that point, that is the ascension.
Right. And the thing is, it's not that we're going anywhere. It's that our perception will have, because our perception's completely changed. Reality is going to catch up with our perception. That's what, because our perception has changed, and so we're seeing all of the bullshit, all the lies and the deception, and it's like we can't say it. Yeah, we're already trying to live in this new reality in the way we want to see everything.
Yeah, your deja vu should be going off the scale now. You should be having deja vus. Maybe once, it used to be once in years, and now it should be once a month. The more you start collecting, the more deja vus you'll start getting, because all of your realities, it's like you're being put back together with all these shards being superimposed back on top of you, in you, creating you, making you whole again. And before you know it, you're going to have a hard time distinguishing what you remember, what is real, what you thought was a dream. All of it is going to converge. You're going to have a really hard time going, wait a minute, I remember it being this way. Wait a minute, I thought this happened, or didn't that happen? And why do I know all this stuff? Nobody told me, but I just know it. It's because you're being put back together like Humpty Dumpty, literally.
What's your take on what's gone on with Jizzy?
Who?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, seriously, you don't know Ghislaine Maxwell? Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, who was sort of a madam chief trafficker, chief recruiter, kind of.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't watch media, and I have been out of the world this whole time. I have never caught back up with media. I simply don't watch it. I don't know.
Okay, so you know that Captain Rankin, just you know about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes, I know about Jeffrey Epstein because Arthur was talking to me about him the other day.
Right. So his girlfriend was Ghislaine Maxwell, and Robert Maxwell's daughter. Right. Okay. So Robert Maxwell, the double agent, worked for Mossad and MI5. His daughter, suspected of working for Mossad. Don't think she had anything to do with MI5, but they probably had a file on her. And And the relation is that she was Epstein's handler, and he was, and they were running a honey trap, basically, on the island, or in. I don't believe it's just everybody's focused on this one freaking island, and how many ranches has he got? How many different properties did he have? You know, and also that's not the only small little Caribbean island that exists. You know, Richard Branson's got an island. He's got the Virgin Islands, and there's, you know, the Queen owns islands, and they've got everybody really focused on this one case. And it's like, basically, I think what's going to happen is what happened with World War II and our Mr. Mustache. Everything was focused on, you know, it was like he was made very much, everything was put on him and his dastardly plan. I think it was a lot more insidious, and there was certainly very strong connections to the European royals behind who was funding who. So anyway, to get back to what I was saying about Ghislaine Maxwell has been tried. She's been taken to court. There's 6 charges against her, and she's been found guilty of 5 of the 6 charges. The interesting thing is that when they set out their case, the prosecution said they were going to need 5 to 6 weeks to present all of their evidence, because they had all this evidence. And then I think it was 8 days in, something like 8 days into it, they say, we're closing the case. We're going to close the case now. Not close the case, but yeah, case closed. Like, that's it. That's all. They presented all their evidence. They presented 4 witnesses, I think, and that was it. There you go, and handed it over to defence. And the defence team weren't ready. They weren't expecting. You know, they thought they were going to have another 4 weeks to prepare their defence and to get together there, because they had I think they only had, I don't know how many witnesses they'd actually said they were going to call, but the Friday night before they were supposed to go back into court on the Monday, and on the Friday night, an hour before close of business on the Friday night, they handed in their defence plan with like 35 witnesses on it. So shit, or 35 extra witnesses on it or something, and all this extra. They didn't have any time to prepare, and they had to chuck it all in there, and it was so obvious what they were doing that was all thrown out. They were only allowed to call 8 witnesses, and they lost. She got off one.
Let me look into it, since I don't know anything about this. How about I be the non-biased person, or the biased person, or whatever you want to call it, and I'll look in on it, just remote view, and see what's really going on, because I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Right. So the thing is, when the prosecution closed the case, and said, right, we're done, I was thinking, because of what they were saying leading up to it, they were saying, yeah, this is all going to be televised, it's all going to come out, you know, Epstein's little black book, it's all going to come out, all about the royals and everything, it's all going to come out. And then the judge that was presiding at the beginning of the trial said, this is far too shocking for the public, and sealed it.
Let me look in and see what's going on. Yeah. Hold on, since I don't really know, just let me go look. I'll do some spying here.
Yeah. When
okay,
now?
Just give me a moment.
I think we've got some remote viewing down.
This is about the adrenochrome.
Oh yeah. This is
about the adrenochrome. Oh God.
Let's call it Ribena, just in case there's any.
Okay, so they actually got the photographic and tapes. They're not really tapes.
Everything.
They got where they had done this to the children. They actually filmed it, and they got the film. This was all filmed.
Yeah.
And they got the film.
So he's got a temple on his island that basically it's got an underground. There's a big.
All of this was filmed. Every heinous act that they've committed has been filmed.
The whole island was a honey trap, but to basically for them to be able to get compromising evidence against everybody that went to the island. Either
the whole thing's been filmed. Every single solitary act.
Yeah.
Sodomizing, rape,
yeah.
adrenochrome, and you don't even want me to tell you what I'm seeing with that. That's just horrific. I can't look at that anymore. When they get this adrenochrome, these people, because they did it to more than just children, they're awake. They're awake. And they have this chair that's designed to harness you in. It holds your head, and they go down and they drill your head open. No anesthesia.
No.
This is all being done while you're awake to create the higher fear and pain. So the adrenochrome will be more pure.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
That's because
before they do this to you, they hit them, they beat them, but they also told them all the terrible things they were going to do to them to get that adrenochrome even more pure.
Yeah.
So that your adrenal glands are at this point pumping fight, flight, fight, flight, and you're just at this point. By the time they do this to you, you're in such a state you almost can pass out with fear. It's horrible, but our court systems are completely corrupted. Humanity, we have to take back our world. Don't expect it to be done through the court systems. Wake up, smell the coffee, and realize we are the power. And if we don't do something, no one's going to do it for you. We have to take it into our own hands and start doing something, because these court systems they're completely corrupt. You're not going to win anything in these corrupt courts.
The entire system is geared to help those controlling it. So if you're going to use the court system, you're using their legal system. The only way that you can take them to court outside of their system is common law. Really, I think.
I need to say this, but we need to have our manifesting powers. And I'm going to stress this again. People, center yourself. Collect your shards, become whole as a unit again, and before you know it, you'll be able to have incredible skill set.
Right.
And the first thing is you got to put the fear down. You've really got to put the fear down and pick up that righteous anger, because it does spark across the ether, and it'll wake up your skill set.
Sonia,
but the main thing is that we have got to learn how to manifest. We are creating every moment in between moment. You want this to end? Right. Start creating it.
Sonia, it's important I say this now, because you just said that. You just reminded everybody we're creating, and the way we're creating is through our focus, what we're visualizing and what we're imagining. But what we've just done, you didn't we didn't. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't sit there imagining what's going on with these wrong-uns. Don't sit there imagining that, because you're giving it more energy. You're feeding into that reality by imagining that reality, because you can't help but it hit your heart. And when it hits your heart and your mind's involved as well, that's when the whole manifestation thing takes place. So you have to be careful what you sit there and visualize. Be careful to sit there and invest your emotions into visualizing. If you're going to think about things like that, you have to be able to detach from them to be able to look at them, because otherwise you're going to play into that, because they want people thinking about that, even though they're trying to hide it. They don't, they're trying to hide it, but they still want people thinking about it, because it's really low vibrational, horrible.
Yeah, we have to face the evil that it is, recognize it for what it is, change it.
Yeah.
Change it. Go to the higher vibration.
So,
In your mind,
Sonia,
with your next moment,
Sonia.
it doesn't exist.
All right. Yeah.
You have to take it out of your reality.
Yeah, that's how you change it. Is or rather, I mean, a more realistic way to just imagine that it disappears. You could just say they all get their just desserts.
That's right.
They get done. It gets shut down, and they get done. And that's the only way we can do anything about it. But by imagining that, by visualizing that happen, by visualizing Ghislaine Maxwell getting 65 years. Or you know, they've said that she can't do any deals, but she gets 65 years, and because she's a complete narcissist and a nasty little sociopathic monster, she wants to take everybody down with her. So she gives evidence anyway on everybody else, and they all get taken down. It all gets taken down. And then the next, and MSM gets taken down, and what it gets replaced with, we can trust. We can say, these are real people, and they're coming from the heart, and what they're telling us is true, because, and we know it's true because it resonates. We can feel it's true. Because everything that they're saying now, none of it resonates. That's why we know it's not true. If any of it did resonate, we'd be sat here going, yeah, I know, but it does kind of feel like what they're saying is right. But none of it resonates. It's only those things that resonate, isn't it? Because they're soul memories, I think, where this has happened before.
Everything has happened before. There's nothing new under the sun. I had this conversation with, I think it was Cullum and Campbell, and we were talking about this has been done before, again and again and again. The wiping out of humanity, the getting them to believe whatever and taking them out. I mean, I was talking to my daughter this morning, Wendy, and she's like, Mom, let's talk about those Aboriginals again. And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about them again. And, you know, right now, I think they just burnt down one of the government buildings or something. And it's like, yes, they have burnt down the government building. But the main thing is they need to gather up together. And instead of attacking infrastructure, they need to do something with these physical beings, because they're being murdered, just like the American Indian, the Aztec, the Inca. They're being murdered.
Did they do it though? Do you think they did it, or do you think somebody did it pretending to be part of their group, to discredit them, to put bad light on them?
I think that somebody did it, and it wasn't to discredit them. It was done out of not thinking straight.
Yeah. Frustration and anger.
Frustration. I'm not going to say it wasn't the Aboriginal elders. It was not them.
No, it wouldn't have been, would it? It would have been the young. It would have been the youngster, you know, young mind.
Yes, it was someone who doesn't think things out, and it wasn't just one person.
Yeah.
It was done as a show.
Right.
I'm not going to say it needed to be done or not needed to be done, but if I was going to actually make a difference, and I was an Aboriginal and I was already X'd out as a dead person, and it's just a matter of them catching me and killing me, you know what? If you're going to come after me, I'm going to come after you. I would go after each individual that was coming after me personally, especially if my life wasn't meant to be anything more than nothing, because you're going to annihilate me. If you're put on an annihilation list, what are you willing to do if you're going to be taken out anyway?
That's one thing that I've been tossing around in my mind. Because
if I was put on a list and they said that they were going to annihilate me, well, I've got nothing left to lose at that point now, do I? If you're going to do something physical to me, I'm not going to go burn down your Ephesuses or whatever, your facades or whatever that's out there. I'm going to come after you personally because you put a hit on me. What have I got to lose? You're going to kill me anyway.
So, but what if the whole point, and what if there is really something behind trying not to show, not to do any harm at all, just not to do any harm, no matter what somebody else is doing to you. You don't do any harm to somebody else. And having,
I'll tell you what's going to happen if you don't defend yourself. I think it's a lovely idea that you think that you can get around in this reality without doing harm.
No, listen, Sonia, I'm not saying that I think that's how it can be. I'm not saying I think that's how it can be. You're talking to a very masculine man who wants to go out and start knocking heads together. But I'm also fighting with this idea that's saying, what if you don't?
If you don't, you'll be annihilated. If you're going to sit down with your legs crossed and sing Kumbaya, and they're going to come over with a machine gun or a machete to chop your head off, you're going to have your head chopped off.
But what you're doing there is you're imagining the worst thing happening. I'm doing,
seeing what's happening. Here's the difference. I don't have to imagine anything. I can go see. I see what's happening to the Aboriginals. I see what's happening to them.
Right, okay, but what I'm saying is you're not an Aboriginal. Do you think it's going to come to you?
No, absolutely not. This is a test. This is a test to see what they can do there so that they think, but they're losing, that they could spread it everywhere. They want to see how far they can go without you lifting a finger.
They were, I think that Israel was a bit of a test for that as well. Because Israel, they put out the vaccines and the boosters and everything before everybody else, man. They were mandating it all before everyone.
Right now, think of it like, say I had some wild dogs and I put them in a cage and the wild dogs were attacking the perimeters, trying to find the weak point. Right, this is what they're doing. They're like wild animals and they're attacking. So they're attacking Australia. They're attacking the originals. They're attacking here. They're attacking there. This is all being done to see how far they can push the envelope. How much will you take before you stand up? What's it going to take for you to stand up? Shall we kill everyone before you stand up? Will you ever stand up? This is a test.
Right, yeah, but the thing is, though, people are standing up. If you look at the millions of people that are standing up now, they are actually standing up. And I was talking to somebody about it earlier today, and I said that I'm pretty certain that a lot of these people that are, we think that all the people that are asleep, and that's it, they're all asleep. But I think that there's still quite a percentage of those people that are not asleep. They are awake. They know something's wrong. They know it's not right, but their cognitive dissonance is just like crippling them, basically. And also their egos, that their egos are so far out of whack, they can't possibly admit to anybody that, because they've been virtue signaling, they've been doing all of that crap, and they cannot back down now, so they're doubling down, but they know. And I think once the tide turns, those will be the ones that turn around and go, oh yeah, well, I always knew, man. And that will be when when it snowballs, the tide will turn and it will just suddenly flood out. The consciousness will flood out, and that's when those people will be standing up and say, well, I always knew, man. I always knew. I was just protecting my back, right?
This is also a tug of war. We're in the yin and yang of everything now. I mean, and we have been for a while. And which side's going to prevail? Is it going to be the dark or is it going to be the light? Well, this has already happened. The light will win. But at the last moment of the last hour, at the last minute and the last second.
See, I think that what I've been looking at is our role as, because I think that so much truth is put through children's television, cartoons, films and stuff. And what they're telling the children and the stories that they're telling the children about, like the avatar and stuff, it's like with the Matrix, they say there's only one. But as we know, we're all Neos, so there's not only one. It's just they've been telling us there's only one. So there's not only one avatar. And I think, and we say that these are avatars, and we're for our spirits. So we're the avatars. If we can master all four elements, the four elements being emotional, spiritual. I don't know how it would work out, earth, wind, fire, and water, but we'd master the four elements, and then we become avatars, which we're the balance between the physical and the spiritual. Because we're physical and spiritual beings, the spiritual beings having a physical experience. But I think the whole point of it is so that we can continue to have it's to expand the spiritual experience into the physical experience. So we've got the best of both worlds, and the avatar is meant to be the balance between the two realms, and that's what we are. So that means that what we have to do is rise above the duality, above the polarity, and we have to find the balance and maintain the balance between the two.
That equilibrium. You need an equilibrium.
Yeah, the equilibrium kind of thing. But it's like that's why, because we've got the left and the right side of the brain, the male and the female. They want us to pick sides. They're desperate for us to pick sides, left or right. You're either for us or against us. It's black or white. It's red or blue. Right? They're desperate for us to pick sides. And I say that we don't pick sides. We go, no, we rise above this. We recognize the duality, and we find the balance, because we're meant to. On the hero's path, you're meant to confront your shadow, and then. People think that ego death and all of that, it's not about killing your ego, because at the end of the day, we are physical beings. Whether we've got the spirit and the soul inside us or not, we're physical beings in this realm. So it's about finding that balance of 50-50 between the two.
Yeah.
But then I'm a Libra, so I'm like always like, it's got a balance, man. It's got a balance. Like my tattoos, they've got a balance on my arms. They've got a balance. Everything's got to be balanced.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, you're not going to sit down, cross your legs, and sing Kumbaya and think things are going to be better. This is a physical world, and we have to do physical things. If no one did anything, of course, negativity is going to rampage all over you.
Right.
We still have to do physical things.
What we need to focus on, really, though, is actually, instead of focusing on, because at the end of the day, for all of us, because we're not involved in any way, shape, or form in that world, we only see it on the TV screen. So for us, it is background stories. They're all background stories going on.
Yeah, because that's not my world either. That's not my world.
So say again. Say that again.
That's not my world. What's going on out there is not what's happening here. Because what's happening here does not resemble what's on cyber world.
No.
And I tell you, if I was in a place like Cullum and Campbell, and they are actually having to deal with this crap,
crikey,
I'd be out in the streets every day. I'd be out in the streets.
So Sonia, to everybody that's listening, Sonia is a treehouse Goonie, and one of our, well, we've got a few Goonies in Australia, but Karina is in Victoria, which has to be the worst place, isn't it, really, in the whole of Australia, with Andrews as their prime.
As their dictator.
Oh man, I don't understand why. I'm not going to say what they are, but there's certain things that I'm just really surprised haven't happened yet, and that guy's still walking around.
Exactly.
You know?
If I was living there, I know why I live in the USA. I live in the USA because with my personality, if I lived in Australia, I'd be arming up and I'd be hunting. I'd go on hunting expeditions.
But the thing is, though, that's what they're geared up for. That's what they want us to do. They're very, very geared up for that.
No, I wouldn't do it in a group.
They've
This
got
would be something that would be personal. I wouldn't involve another human being. Believe me, I would not.
What I'd like to be able to do, I think that we should have the right to be able to, in the spirit realm, not in the physical realm, because I'm here, but I should be able to have the right to go to Andrews, wherever he is, because I can be able to go through past all the security and everything, wherever he is, and confront him, and and make him scare the living shit out of the guy.
Okay, well, you're better than I would, because once I saw him, the only one that would be walking away and breathing would be me.
The thing is, though, like as soon as I say that, as soon as I've said it, I think, yeah, but the thing is, that guy has got some really high-level cheeky monkeys around him.
Plus, he's not human. He's not strictly human.
I don't think what's inside him originated on, like from a human. I think his soul is gone, if he ever had one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's not, I'm not going to say he's some kind of alien, but I am going to say he's some kind of AI.
Yeah.
He's,
this is Enzo coming and say, no, you got to come down so the camera can see you.
Hey. Hello.
There it is, look. See, they are.
Hi.
hi.
Nice to meet you.
It's from
Sorry.
Italy.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, the camera's there, man.
Yeah, from Italy, from South Italia.
Wow.
In Paris. You were from England.
No, America.
America.
Sonia's in America.
Well, USA, because South America, North America, I'm from USA.
Ah, USA. Nice.
Oh, hang on.
Ah,
My TV's just turned itself off. Hang on.
you're from USA, yeah?
Hang on.
Yeah, the kitchen don't work. Doesn't work.
I don't know.
The kitchen don't work.
The kitchen don't work.
This is the one. Yes.
What doesn't work? The cooker.
Yeah. You go check, please, Rich. You see me?
Ah, I can see why. Hang on.
Where is the camera?
Sorry, one sec. I just got a. The camera's just here.
Ah, yeah. And Sophia, Sonia.
That should be on now, yeah.
Ah, from there, is.
Yeah, there's a.
Ah, okay. One minute, give me one minute. I'm the part. The water.
If you have, it might be because you had too many hobs on. If you have too many hobs on and stuff. Right, I do apologise. Sorry about that.
Does that work again?
It's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because of that. I'll keep my eye on that trip switch.
Are you from South America, North America?
Where are you? You're New England, aren't you?
Where do I live in England? Is that what you said?
No, you're in New England.
Yes, I'm in New England, Delaware. Delaware.
Delaware. She's in Delaware.
Delaware is New England.
Ah, it's in America.
Yeah, New England in America.
Yeah. Except I don't know anyone who says that this is New England. That's like an old word that just kind of disappeared. New England. We never say that.
You never
We say the East Coast or the West Coast.
Yeah. East side, west side.
That's right. That's
You've
right.
been in Europe, oh no? You've been in Europe.
Okay, you'll have to speak a little slower. Your voice is you're speaking fast to me, and I can barely make out what you're saying.
Yeah, the microphone's here. Have you been to Europe?
Oh, many times. I just was to Europe in, when all this stuff went down, I happened to be in Spain for 3 months in 2020. And on March 16th, I flew out of Spain. They ended up canceling my flights, and I had to go to the UK instead of going to Ireland, because that's when they locked down all the airports the day of my flight back to the USA. So yeah, it was so crazy because when I was in Spain, I was by Barcelona for 3 months. I was staying there with some friends, and none of this was happening. There was no masks. There was no deaths. There was none of this crap going on while I was there. When I got back into the United States, we had to go through all these ridiculous procedures. And then when my brother came and picked me up at the airport, he's like, "Oh my God, it was so bad in Spain. Everyone's dying. Everyone." I'm like, "What are you talking about?
No,
I've been in Spain for 3 months. None of that was happening. I was in Barcelona all the time because I wasn't that far from Barcelona."
Yeah.
And the lies and the manipulation already from the get-go, from me walking into the country, was like everything that was on the news media when I went to his house, because I don't have internet here. I'm like, lies, lies, not true, lies. And only because I was there.
Yep.
In Spain, yeah.
Yeah, Barcelona. It's the same here though.
In everywhere.
The mainstream media here is as bad, if not worse, than in America. I don't know if you've got more than one hob on, dude.
Maybe it's the water.
Or if the washing machine is still on, that's a problem. Maybe turn the light off in the kitchen. This is the trouble with the electrics here. You have to, when you get your electrics for the building, you have to they give a certain amount of power to, depending on how many people are living there. Well, he's got much less people living here, so there's obviously they've reduced the power. So now if you have too many things switched on, it trips the bloody switch. Trips the switch.
Oh my gosh.
So
You're blowing breakers.
it's a bit of a pain. But I'm glad that I got this room, because at least I'm now in charge of the electric. When the trip switch goes, before I always had to knock on the door, like if then maybe someone was here, maybe they weren't. It was my friend Amanda that used to have this room. So when she had this room, it was cool because I could just knock on the door, open it, say, "Oh, Amanda, the power's gone." Come in and flick the switch and pop out again. But then she went and Anna came in and had this room, and it was different with Anna. But Anna's gone. She's gone now. She's still with us, but she's not going to be coming back here. If she does come out of hospital, she's going to have to go into a hospice or something.
Oh my.
Yeah, she's really ill. She's got stomach cancer. I don't know if it's bowel cancer or intestinal, or if it's. I don't think it's colonic, because it's here in her stomach. So.
Oh my gosh.
Like in her. I don't know, in her stomach. But yeah, it's
terrible. I know we've been having a lot of people dropping in December. All of a sudden in January, it's going to get worse. People are going to start dropping. 2 reasons why they're going to drop. One, of course, the bioweapon, it's a given. But the second one is the frequency. If you don't match the frequencies when all these timelines start merging, which they are, you simply can't stay. You'll blow apart from the inside out.
So that they've announced that February 5th it will be a worldwide rollout of 5G. The thing is, well, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people are thinking, oh, that means on the 5th of January, they're going to flick a switch and all of the 5G is going to turn on. That's not what it means. What it means is they're switching all the 5G on now, and by the 5th of January, everywhere will be turned on. That's what that means. They're turning it all on now.
They've had 5G running for the last several years, but they've been doing it. They've been testing it on pockets of people.
Yeah, that's it. It's been pockets. They've had it on for a week, and they've moved the pockets around. Yeah.
They also tested it on colleges and schools, elementary school, middle school, and high schools in America. So they've been taking groups of people and testing it on different groups of people. And of course, you know, the 5G gives you that, what do you call that? You know, where you get that high altitude sickness.
Right. Yeah. It gives you similar symptoms to high altitude sickness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bad thing is everyone's going to be thinking, oh no, I'm ill, when in reality you're suffocating. You simply don't have enough oxygen. That's why you're getting the high altitude sickness from the 5G.
I made the correlation last year between symptoms and high EMF readings. I made a direct correlation between the two, and since then I haven't suffered any symptoms. And one of the when I changed my perception of what illness was, what head colds were, and the flu and stuff like that, when my perception changed to that, that's when I stopped getting sick, and I just get symptoms. But the symptoms are considered to be the body just purging.
Yeah.
And last year,
oh my God, yeah.
And then last year,
Richie, we're being hit with the air we breathe, the food we eat, what we drink. Our house is wired. Those meter boxes outside, the electric meter boxes, those are all going to be 5G weapons against us. They're already weapons now. Why do you think they went from the analog meter to the electric meter? Because I don't know how many houses those things burnt down already too. Oh, Lord.
Every single electrical device as well. People don't realize that every single electrical device gives off EMF, even if it doesn't.
That's right. We have so much dirty electricity going on here. We're being irradiated in our own homes.
It's because there's two types of electricity, right? There's the type that Nikola Tesla was harnessing, and the type that they're actually creating and selling to us. It's like a forced electricity.
Yeah, they've inverted everything. You know, everything could be clean. Everything could be clean, but it's been inverted intentionally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we're a strong species, though. We're like cockroaches. It's hard to kill us.
What do you think? I mean, because a lot of people think that it all changed in 2012. Some people think it changed in 2008. Some people think it didn't change till 2020, the 21st of December 2020. But for me, I was seeing all of this. Obviously, not everything that happened, but I saw the change that everybody sees now. I saw in 2001.
This stuff has been happening. This stuff has literally been happening since the last reset. If you want to know the truth.
Yeah,
started with the last reset. It's just been ramping up.
When do you think the last reset was?
I think it was about 250, 300 years ago, and no more. And no more.
Right. Do you think? But that I'm not sure if that was a cataclysmic. You know.
That was a cataclysmic reset.
Was it? But so 200, 300 years ago is 1700s.
Yeah.
I
see the mud floods. I see the, what do you call those? Liechtenstein from the Samvartica fires and all of this all over the ground. This whole place just, it went up.
Like the arcing, you know, when they electrify the wood and it.
That's it. If you look at our land, which I don't even want to tell you what the land actually is, dead bodies. But anyway, you'll see that it's been electrified. The mountains are all, the ridges, it's all electrified. Right. That's why they are like they are, or everything would be smooth, because those were bodies at one time. Everything has been so diminished in this reality. We're like petri dish size to what we were at one point. And it didn't happen overnight. It was slow. I mean, before we became a carbon-based reality, we were silicon-based. Why do you think there's so much silicon here? Because these were silicon-based beings in here. We're living on dead things.
I've heard that. I've heard that before.
Yeah, because when I remote view it and I go back, An entire ecosystem was taken down. An entire ecosystem. Things, I mean, we are literally petri dish size compared to what we used to be. We're the same energy beings occupying different realities as it goes along in this sim.
Right.
We're having different experience, but it's the same place.
The same souls, and
Mhm.
do you think the same spirits, or do you think our spirits change? Do you think we've all got the same spirit inside us, or do you think that changes?
We're an energy being. If you want to call it a spirit, that's fine. It's still just an energy being. And a lot of us have been caught up in a reincarnation scheme. It is a scheme. It is not something that you had to have to grow. No, it's a scheme to keep you here, to feed on you. I mean, most of us don't realize it, but when we first die, boom, it's like being shocked. And when you go out of your body, everything is just flashing by you. You can't make any sense of it. Somebody comes in, gets you, and says, "Come with me," and then throw you back through the reincarnation scheme. It is a scam, because then they reshock you and throw you back into utero. But when you die, you need to say, "Okay, I'm just going to stay here. I'm not going to do anything," and let everything start coming back and slow down. And whenever it starts to slow down and come back, you'll know what it's all about, because everything you ever knew will finally come back into you. And you'll be like, "Oh shit." It's when they get you when you first die, before you're like, you can't think straight. Everything's going too fast. It's too much, because that's all your info coming into you. And it's too much to assimilate for anyone when you pass first out of these bodies, and they try to get you fast. So don't do anything. Just stand, go nowhere, let it all come back in, and then you'll know what to do. You'll know how to get out of here.
Have you read the Book of the Indian Book of the Dead, or not Indian?
No, I haven't read any books from anyone.
I haven't read it either, but I've listened to it. I've listened to the audio.
I haven't listened to anything either.
I can't remember if it's the Indian or if it's the Egyptian one. And they say, when you die, there's 7 demons that you face. The first one that you face, when you face the first one, it's the most terrifying thing you've ever seen, right? But the whole point is you're supposed to recognize that demon is you. And if you don't recognize it, then you go to the next one, and the next one, or you do all 7. I can't remember. You do all 7, and you have to recognize every time. Doesn't matter how scary the demon is. Doesn't matter. Every time it's you. It's you that you're facing. It's your reflection, basically. And then once you've done that, then you can pass over into the next realm. I mean, that's because it's our ego that works against us in this realm.
All I know is that we're in a spider's trap, and we need to get out. We need to stop following. We need to start standing up and thinking for ourselves. We need to be the decision maker. We make the rules. We'll do what we want to do. We'll do what I want to do. That's how you have to be. I'll do what I want to do. I make the rules, and stop following other people. You want to get out of this? Start taking responsibility for yourself.
You know what you were saying about the matrix beings, about source is finally recognizing what's been created within the realm, and then it's going to give that. There's going to be a connection given to those that have done the work, or whatever. Those that have not all of them, but some of these created beings have earned the right somehow to have a connection. They've earned a soul. I think what it means is they've earned a soul, haven't they? They've earned a connection to source. This is the demiurge. The demiurge, obviously created by Sophia, must be recognizing the demiurge and giving the demiurge a connection to source, which will legitimize this realm. which means that if this realm was always a trap, we can change it into into the promise that it was. Instead of being a trap, we could turn it into an experience, just a really cool experience. Come in, like an amusement park. Come and do a lifetime as a human being, man. In a realm where we know who we are and we have control, and there's a if Source is going to recognize that what has been created, it seems that that's a cool place it could go. That's a cool direction it could go.
Yeah, we all actually, you don't have to earn your connection to Source. You already have it. It's given. The problem is most of us have disconnected from it.
No, we already have it, but the demiurge didn't.
No, absolutely not. The demiurge didn't know.
Because you were saying that the demiurge is connected to Source, but doesn't have. It's not.
It's not reciprocal. Like Source gets everything that the demiurge does or experiences, but it gets nothing back in return.
Right, there you go. So what Source is going to do is start giving back to. I mean, the way I see this is like the demiurge never having experienced unconditional love, and now Source has decided, okay, open up its arms to accept the demiurge as the creation of Sophia, done out without the permission of the other eons. Because that's like a happy ending, isn't it? That's an ultimately nice happy ending. If the biggest problem with the demiurge and everything that the demiurge created, which has no connection to Source, and that's why they're so spiteful and nasty and horrible and sociopathic and psychopathic. If they could have that connection, then surely they'd stop being the way they are, and then they'd have to be forgiven.
Let's see how that works out.
Yeah. But I'm just playing that out, playing that out in my mind. How
I do know that there are some beings that are really true Source beings, and they have become so corrupted and so dark, they will not find their way back to the light, and they will be assimilated.
Yeah.
Because they are now devoid of the spark of life, and that spark of life is love. And if you are completely devoid of that, and it is nowhere in your being, you are truly corrupted, and there is no coming back after that. This reincarnation scheme was also created for these dark ones, because they were dark before this place was ever created. This place was created for them to become light, to find that spark again. If they haven't done it at this point, they never will. And that's why the reassimilation will take place. Because when you reincarnate and you are a dark being, you get wiped from ground zero. It's the new start, the new beginning. You have no attaches to anything behind you. The problem is that when you're that dark, it's innate inside of you. You have to overcome it. And it looks like there are a few that will never overcome it, because that is what they have become. Because they've disconnected from Source, and they actually revel in the negative. It's not that, you're going to show them love and they'll be better. No, they don't want to be better. And that's the difference.
Yeah,
it's
they
choice.
love it. Right.
It's their choice, and they chose. This is why they will become assimilated, because there is no way back for them without assimilation.
I think this is another thing that can be put in the same bracket as creation. What's going to happen next? Because hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'm pretty certain that we're all going to be part of that creation of this new paradigm, this new, the new version of the realm, basically.
Yeah.
We can't conceive how it happened the first time, and by the same standards, we can't conceive how it's going to happen this time.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. There's going to be points where we're going to get more awake, more aware, more connected, and it's just going to happen. And we'll get there, and it'll be like, oh, look, we're here. Hey, and it might seem like no time has passed, really. Once we get there, it'll be like, wow, well, that wasn't that bad, was it? And we're here now. But sit at the start of that, well, we're not at the start with, God knows how long to do this job, but it might be another couple of years before it filters into the reality that we're actually experiencing.
Yeah. Well, I do know that 2022 is a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't begin to tell you how big it's going to be. It starts in January. That's in a day or two. Actually, it's actually started before, but it's going to really be the slap in humanity's face in January because.
So
wow,
by the end of January is when Venus comes out of retrograde. Venus went into retrograde 3 weeks, and towards the end of January 19th, I think it is, it comes out of retrograde, and there's going to be a big energy. Something's going to happen through February, but Adrian is saying that the energies are not going to be, it's not going to have resolved itself until the end of the year.
I will tell you there's a turning point starting in June to July. I see a turning point in July. I mean, a big turning point in July. And that turning point is going to work several ways. One, it's going to be the red skies coming, which is the end of this reality. Two, you'll either ascend to the new earth or you won't. You'll be stuck in the red skies. Or three, it'll get pushed back just a little bit further because humanity isn't quite there yet. But it's all going to depend on humanity because we are the essential ingredient that is going to make this go in whatever direction. Because as a unit of humanity, even though we're individuals, we determine what happens next.
Yeah. Yeah, we do, and that's what people really, even those of us that are aware of it, we're aware of it, but when you slip into your kind of autopilot, then you forget it. Because you go into an autopilot and it's not in your subconscious autopilot programming to be aware of it. It's only our conscious awareness, because we need to reprogram our subconscious programming, don't we? We all need to reprogram our because that's how they've got us. They've caught us with our subconscious. So if we can reprogram our subconscious program into one that's going to benefit us, then we can stay 100% focused on rebuilding or remaking, or reimagining how this world, how this realm should be going. The sorts of people should be in charge. The sorts of systems that should be that need to be there for us to work as a society, or as groups, individual groups, societal groups, communities. Because back in the day when there were much less people on the earth, it would be much easier to have these separate communities. And now, if we really have increased exponentially, then the more people there are, then it's like, are you going to have lots more groups, or are the groups going to get bigger? Are you going to get lots more smaller groups, or will the groups that exist, say you had 12 tribes, will the 12 tribes get bigger, or will the 12 split into 24 tribes, kind of thing?
Let's this reality is still standing by the end of this year.
The realm will still be standing. Whether this reality that we're experiencing right now might not be, it might not be at all. Well, I don't think it will be. This reality won't still be standing by the end of this year. We'll be in a new, some sort of new paradigm.
I can tell you right now that as it did before, 250, 300 years ago, those Samvartika fires have already started. They're going to be ramping up. Not too far in the future.
The plasma.
They've started.
Is this, but you're talking about the fires from the electricity. Right?
Yes, and the fires are coming from down below. In the middle of Gaia, she's 5D. We are in 3D, 4D. Some of us are in 3D here, but we are in a 4D construct now. 5D is coming up to meet us. 5D is above us. This is what's going to happen. Boom! And that's going to be the full Samvartika fires coming. That's what's going to be the catalyst. Because with the smaller the 4D gets, the energy will change. And it's like, think of hot water and cold water. How does that mix? Because it's kind of like that. Extremely hot water and extremely cold water. And then boom, they're put into the same space and place. That's the dimensions. Oh, it's going to be a big bubbling, boiling mess. Cold water will burn. Hot water will freeze. We're going to be upside down and topsy-turvy. And those Samvartika fires, because their energy, are going to be ignited across the ether.
That all has to be linked to the pole shift as well. I forget who it was said, because I made an observation that last night the moon was above me, and the way the moon moves, it moves like that. So last night the moon's here, and when I went out early this morning walking, it should have been here. It was here.
Yeah.
It had gone backwards.
Yeah. We're a mad mess. If you look at the moon, in 2017, the moon flipped. It flipped. We used to always have a moon that waxed and waned, left to right, right to left. And now it's boom. It's upside down. And as the day progresses, it straightens out.
Yeah. So
there is no physical way that would happen.
I spent.
So you have to question what's going on.
I noticed that in 2017. I noticed that start happening. So in 2018.
2017 was our reset. We were reset.
I was filming that. I spent 3 days observing the moon. And in that 3 days, I proved that there had to be at least 2 moons. Or
we were also reset. When we got to 2022.
But either that or that the moon wasn't moving the way that we're told it was. It was, it was moving differently to how we're told it moves. But I set up the cameras and time lapses and everything, and I watched. So when Alfie, come here. When the sun sets, as soon as the sun sets, the moon starts to rotate, and it rotates. I don't know how many degrees, 45 degrees.
It's a lot.
Right. But it's, so yeah, it'll go, so it'll start off, it'll be a half moon. And then by 4 o'clock in the morning, it'll be a half moon like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but the whole sky is shifting funny. The way the stars are moving, instead of traveling like this, they're going like this. It's really weird watching the way that the way the plow, the orientation of the plow changes over the course of the evening. It doesn't match its movement over the plane. It should be a fixed. It should just be going across like that. That's how it used to be. It always used to just go across, like the moon goes up the side, and it's like just going across. Now it's twisting as it's going across.
Yeah, I mean, in 2022, the last time we were in 2022, let's put it that way, those Antarctica fires and the red skies came, and we had to go. We couldn't stay. And when humanity realized every single thing that they thought they knew was a lie, and their foundations were ripped out from underneath of them, they went psychotic. A lot of them couldn't handle it. What do you do with a bunch of people that are going to go psychotic? You're going to put them into some kind of a stasis, and you're going to start them back at 217, because that's what happened. And then you're going to slowly try to wake them up. So when they finally do fully wake up, they'll understand and hopefully be able to handle what's happening. You have to wonder, why are all these people running to their death shot? Do you think it might be because they're already gone at one point in a reality and we needed to wrap our head around the loss of humanity?
They're brainwashed, man. That's what I put it out. They're completely brainwashed by the.
What if I told you everyone that got a shot had already been gone, but you needed to come to grips with it?
I mean, I could totally see that, because like the deal with what's going on with my parents. What's he eating? What's that he's got?
No, just a lady. I've seen the kitchen before. I prepared the dish, the carbonara, pasta.
Yeah, he's made a carbonara. He's made a. Oi! I don't know what the fuck that is you're eating, mate. Where did he get that from? God. Ooh. Can you hear that?
Not
You hear it? No, he's not going to let me. He's not going to let me. Look at this. Proper, authentic Italian, made by an Italian.
Looks
Carbonara.
delicious. I'd help you eat that.
I prepared carbonara. Just egg on
Bacon.
bacon,
Mhm.
black pepper, simple pasta.
It's gorgeous.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to enjoy this. But so yeah, when do you think this is going to happen?
It's right around the corner. It's all coming up. We're coming up to an inevitable. When it happens, we'll actually wake up. When it actually happens, it'll be at the end again, and then we'll wake up, because this has happened before. This is a redo. This whole last 5 years has been a redo.
It's almost like, because I'm not concerned. It doesn't matter what my situation is. I'm not concerned. I've not been stressed out. I don't. You know, I'm like, nah, I'll be all right, man. I'm gonna be all right. And I've been okay this whole time. I've been okay. You know, yeah, it's got tight, but on the whole, I've been okay. And now my situation, you know, I'm in a nicer room now and stuff, so things have got slightly better actually. And yeah, I'm just not worried. So if it might be because, yeah, inside I know, this is already done. I'm going to be all right at the end of it. All I've got to do is just sit and wait for it to all happen. Just, you know, I just keep being me, basically. Keep doing me. Keep trying to do what it is I'm trying to do. But it'll all work out in the end, kind of thing.
So. Could you imagine me trying to talk to anyone out there in the common world, and I just give them a little bit of information? It's already too much for them.
That's why I don't ever go out, Sonia. I don't go out anywhere. Like Enzo will tell you, I don't go out. I just stay in the whole time. The only thing I go out for is to go down the shop and get some supplies. That's it.
I go outside all the time. I don't like staying in the house. I don't like having cabin fever. I get real bad cabin fever. I can't handle it. I'm outside all the time. My brother has a really nice house here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a house dweller.
I get cabin fever staying in all the time, but what I mean is, I don't go out socialising. I take Alfie out for walks, and I go to the shop, and that's my outside time. But I don't socialise. I don't go to bars. I don't do anything except what I do here.
I really don't socialize either, because I feel like there's such a huge gauge between me talking and people's understanding that I'm on my level is like this, they're down here, and it's really hard for me to come down this. It's really hard for me to come down to being ignorant, basically, about everything that's going on. I can't live in that ignorance because it's not bliss to be ignorant. I mean, and when I do talk to people that I know, they're always like, okay, explain this. And I literally have to take baby steps because, and then the people that do hang around me, every now and then I have people that are on my channel and they don't live too far away from me. They'll come to my house and then I talk to them. They're right on top of it. They're right there. There's nothing to explain. They know about it. Yeah. It's hugely, we have such a divide in humanity right now between the people that are not ignorant and the people who live in their ignorant bliss. They think it's bliss anyway.
Definitely.
And the ones that are not ignorant, that know what's going on, they see everything for what it is. They can see the tree through the forest. Yeah, well, they seem to be having a better time of it because they're not as stressed. They're not worried. They're not freaking out. They're actually more stable.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I said, I'm not stressed out at all. I know what's going on. Exactly what's going on. Fully aware, fully awake. Well, maybe not fully aware, but fully awake. I can see through all of the bullshit from anyone that gives me bullshit. I can see through it. So and yeah, and although it's like, well, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to change this?
Everything's going to fix itself for coming up to the end. There's not much in it. We're here for the ride. Yeah. And all we are is here to help the ones around us. Basically, the only ones we're going to help are the ones that actually survived, because most of us didn't. That's why I said we're all not making this. How would you get rid of a bunch of people if they hadn't survived something? You create a scenario to explain their reason for their being gone. So when you come out of all of this and you realize there are very few of us left, you don't go psychotic. And that's hard to say. I try never to say this stuff, really, because most people, even on our level, they can't handle that. Did I say we're in a sim?
I mean, you can see why, though. You can see why people could just lose it. But then, I don't know. There was a time when I would have gone psychotic, definitely. With what's going on now, there was a time, if this had happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have lost it. I would have lost the plot. I was addicted to drugs, addicted to Class A drugs, and life would have been horrific if this had happened 15 years ago. But I would have lost the plot, and I would have done something really stupid. Everything happens when it should. That's the other thing as well. It's like, it's a bit fatalist, but I think because of what they've said about the Project Looking Glass, all timelines all converge to one point. So, yeah, that means we're all fated to the same thing. Doesn't matter what you've done in your life, we're all fated to the same thing. So we might as well just sit back and just enjoy the ride till we get there.
There's nothing you're going to do about it. It's already happened.
Yeah, just as long as you've done the
work, it's already happened.
As long as you've done the work on yourself, on your own, on yourself. You know, what does that mean? Doing the work on yourself? Well, it means understanding why you get angry and trying to overcome with people, with other people. I'm not talking about righteous anger about things, you know, like what's going on. I'm talking about getting angry with people, when it's understanding what misplaced anger is. Understanding that half the time when you do get angry with somebody, it is misplaced anger because of other frustrations that this 3D reality brings on us, you know, the shit that they make us deal with because they want us stressed out. They want us arguing with each other. They don't want anybody connecting. That's been on the agenda, even though they seem to have let us for a long time, up until 2 years ago. That's been on the agenda forever, to completely disrupt, you know, connections between individuals and society.
Well, you have to look too, for the first time ever, everyone that's of like-mindedness, we're all connecting all over the snow globe. We're connecting where that was never a thing before. You have to question, why is that? Because we're going to need each other when this is over, because there are such few of us left.
Well, my theory on why we're so scattered is because in order for this new energy to spread and permeate and, you know, and become the old technology that was here before with the star forts, etc., that's all gone. But we exist. We still exist. We're conscious conduits. We're the conduits for the energy. And so we're scattered out all over the earth. And that's because we're all connecting. We're connecting with Australia, Holland, America, Canada, right?
Yeah.
Go on.
And actually, we are the earth and technology. We really are. And I'll explain that. Our earth and technology at one point got to a point where we want to make it into a physical, which is why we made the pyramids and then eventually the Antiquitech buildings and everything. But humanity will come to a point, which it's coming to now, is our ascension, when all of a sudden all of our skill set that was denied us and taken from us will be given back, and it'll be given back through our own. Why do you think that only a handful of us only made this to begin with, this huge leap that is coming in front of us? And I always say this on my videos, most of us aren't going to make this because we didn't make it. And I never really said that publicly, but I'll say it now. Because our next evolution is to become the earth and tech ourselves, where we have all the abilities here. You want to create something, you manifest it. It'll no more be, I have to grow a tree to get this. I will create it here in the ether through my thought. You will no longer be dependent. With such power, such magnificent power, you have to be a certain level being to even have that, because you could cause great devastation throughout realities. Because with that, you will be able to bilocate. You can put yourself in several different, maybe 1,000 different places, be all over those places, even separate yourself into shards and be in each and every shard. There is endless possibilities of what is coming ahead for us. And most of us couldn't do this. We couldn't make it because we wouldn't handle the power, because it is a form of power.
This is something that I kind of realized a couple of years ago, that if so, oh, cheers, man. Yeah, yeah, no worries. Yeah, so it's linked to our emotion. This is why I thought that this realm was a training ground, but for us to gain control of our emotions, to be able to, in a physical body, manifest immediately based on, you know, how we manifest. But that would mean the responsibility that you'd have, being able to completely change the environment like that. Being able to look at somebody, right? Because if we were given that ability now, people would be killing people without even realizing, without even really wishing to. Just, you know, go, oh, I wish we were dead. Oh shit,
Yeah.
I didn't actually, shit, I didn't mean it, man. Yeah, but you did though. In that moment, you did mean it. In that moment, you did, you know, you felt it. You're like, ugh! And that is so destructive.
Yeah. This is
So,
why everything is being thrown at you, including the kitchen sink. What can you handle? Mm-hmm.
But I always thought I'd never be given more than I could handle.
That's not true. That is not true. If that were the case, there would never be one single suicide.
But maybe it is true for me though.
This is YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah,
On YouTube.
yeah, on my channel. I have the one that we put up earlier. Yeah, it's. I've not been given anything more than I can handle, and I've been given some. I mean, you know, I've been given some really horrific shit. But I feel like, yeah, well, you could just give me any kind of horrific shit. Really, I can handle anything. I can handle absolutely anything. Doesn't matter what you put in front of me. I'll deal with it.
Yeah. I've had some stuff too. I think every one of us can claim that. We've had
Yeah.
stuff we've had to go through, and we did not think we'd
Well,
survive
that's
it.
what defines us. That's what defines us from the rest of them. Is the fact that we've all been destroyed more than once on more than one occasion.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I've had my share. Oh, boy, I've had my share.
But most of the time we've done it by ourselves. We've had to rebuild ourselves on our own. Haven't had the help from where we thought we'd get it from, but we have had help from completely strangers. Like for me, it's been the people I've helped, the places that I thought would, the people that I thought would be there weren't, and complete strangers ended up being there for me. You know, when they had no reason to, certainly no obligation to or anything. It's yeah, I've lost my train of thought, but yeah. Well, but yeah, being destroyed and rebuilding yourself, you know. So I've done it 4 or 5 times now. Yeah, admittedly, I self-destructed every time. I self-destructed because.
Then count yourself fortunate and the lucky strong ones, because there are people, lots and lots of people who it broke them. It broke them. And depending on where you live in the world, it's even worse. I'm going to say Japan's the worst. They have a place called Suicide Forest.
Oh no, I've watched the videos on YouTube.
Oh God. And so I went and remote viewed it.
To go there.
The sorrow and the shame and the inadequacy that's put on them drove them to suicide. And you can name it right there in that box.
In some
inadequacy. I mean, they're not enough.
Vulnerable. In Japanese samurai culture, suicide is an honorable thing to do.
I will tell you something. I have remembrances of incarnations that I have had. And in one of my incarnations, I distinctly remember an entire life being a samurai warrior. I never had a wife. I lived on the side of a mountain. I had a horse and a makeshift, I don't know what you call it, like a lean-to or something, but it was a little bit more over time. And the samurai warriors were basically, from my remembering, it was all about honor. But honor can even be taken to a limit of ridiculousness. Because when my emperor died, I remember committing harikiri, whatever you want to call it. And when I was born into this reality, I always had terrible sharp pains going through my heart and out my back. And it wasn't until several years ago when I actually started talking to Arthur. I'm like, oh my God, I can't have another one of those episodes, because I'd end up in the hospital. They couldn't find anything wrong with me, but it was crippling. I couldn't move. They didn't even know what it was. So I remote viewed it. I don't know why it never dawned on me to remote view it. And I saw myself committing murder to myself, suicide. And when I saw that in that moment, and I recognized that was terrible. I should never have done that. I had so much to offer the world because I was only in my late 30s, early 40s. And I had learned so much, and there was so much I could offer to my community. And I committed suicide. I never had that pain again. It was gone.
There's a theory that what we're doing in this lifetime is working out the karma from all the previous, and from our bloodline as well, from our family, the family karma. We're the ones that are dealing with it. We're transmuting that karma in this lifetime. That's one of the reasons why everything's been, the way it has.
When I had that remembrance of being a samurai warrior, every single person that I took the life of was in my face. And I could see them all clearly, and how I took their life. Do you think that wasn't hard to deal with? Because I don't believe in murder.
So in that sense, and that is maybe what we're doing in this lifetime. We're dealing with we're balancing the karma from all previous incarnations. We're balancing the karma so that we can ascend. The other thing that became very apparent to me the other day was about time. The only time that has ever existed is now. It's the only time that's ever existed.
Yeah, we're always in the now. Always.
Because as soon as it's done and it's in the past, it's gone. It's not now anymore. It's in the past. You can spend now thinking about what happened in the past or imagining what's going to happen in the future, but the whole time when you're doing it is now. And the only time you can affect any change is now. And so, that's how I got my head around past, present, and future existing all simultaneously now. Because now is the only time that exists. There's no such thing as time. The only time that exists is now.
Yep, I always say that. All we are is we're always in the now. And I know I told you that it's like a figure, it's a round circle, a perfect round circle, and it's twisted over on itself. And where that meeting is the now you're experiencing.
Right.
So you can go anywhere in the now, but it's all now.
So Chris, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can go into the past, you can think about the past, but you're doing it now. Chris, who is a treehouse goonie, he's got a theory about infinity. He thinks that infinity at the moment, the infinity that we're dealing with at the moment, is the Ouroboros twisted. So circle twisted. But he thinks that the true infinity is two circles together. Not one circle twisted into an 8, but two circles joined. So two completely separate circles, but joined in the middle. And that's I don't know what that would mean. I guess that would I would say the reincarnation loop, you know, the soul truck reincarnation loop could be that. So if we say the two circles of male and female, and what they did was they removed the divine feminine back in the 1400s or whatever it was. So removed the divine feminine. They took this aspect, the male aspect, and they twisted it to then make two circles again. But it made, you know, do you see what I'm getting at?
Yes, I absolutely do.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Because right now we're just in the figure 8. That's what we're actually in right now. This.
And we're just like, history is repeating itself. I think that because we've been lied to about history, because we don't know the truth about history, and they say the man that forgets history is doomed to repeat it. It's not that we're forgetting history. It's that we've forgotten our true history. We've forgotten our story. All we know is this bullshit narrative that they fed us. So
yeah, deliberately done, of course, because we were so conquered.
Right. Well, we're coming up for 2 hours, nearly, just about.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go. I have to go too because it's almost 8 o'clock. I gotta get going to go work out at the gym. My neighbor has a free membership, and he's like, "Come on, let's all go." It's like, "Are you gonna get in trouble to take all of us?" And he's like, "Nah." So we've been doing it for a couple of months. I'm not paying for it. And actually, since he's so old, because he's like 70 almost, he's not that old, but he's older than I am. He gets his free through Medicare, so we're all using the gym for free.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's brilliant. If I could use the gym for free, I would.
Free good. That sounds good to me. Free.
This new room that I'm in, it's got there's a metal frame here that I can use to do pull-ups on. So I'm really stoked about it. I'm going to start doing some pull-ups, and I've got room to do push-ups and sit-ups and everything in here. So I'm going to start training again. And 2022 is going to be bloody awesome. Absolutely bloody awesome. It's going to be but thank you very much.
Deep breath, because it's going to be a little rough.
Thank you so much for joining me, Sonia. Thank you to the chat room. I don't know who we got. Where's my bloody mouse? Manny Silver, Jeffrey. Manny is in the. Manny's a Treehouse Goonie now. Lizzo, Jeffrey, Hippie Shake, Alex, Andrea, Mighty Atom, Jeffrey, Mika, Holistic Media, and I think that is about it, the people that have been chatting. Thank you very much for being here. It is now New Year's Eve. 31st for me. It's the 31st of December 2021. So it's 2022 tomorrow, man.
Mine's not even here yet. I'm only at 8 p.m. right now.
No, you've got 4 hours. You've got 4 hours to go. So
4 hours.
anyways, thank you. Thanks again, Sonia.
Richie, I really enjoy talking to you. And nice to meet you too.
Yeah. And thanks, man, for that. That was absolutely delicious. That carbonara was banging.
It's your first time.
Yeah. No, it's not my first time with carbonara. That is how carbonara should be done. When they put bechamel in it, when they put the cream,
Yeah, no, without cream.
That's not how carbonara. That is how carbonara should be done.
The carbonara, because English like with cream.
Yeah, exactly.
Cream
I don't.
we don't use cream.
I like it how the Italians.
Some people put. Some people.
It's always nice to get authentic Italian food, man.
What time is it?
Give me a reason to eat. I'm there.
Sonia's 5 hours behind us because she's in New England, so It's 8 o'clock now, and you've got a guy.
8 o'clock is there. A morning. Yeah.
8 o'clock, no, in the evening. 8 o'clock in
Evening.
the evening. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Is 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Morning.
1 o'clock in the morning here. So thank you very much, Sonia. I'll speak to you again soon. See you in the treehouse. All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you very
Myself.
much. See you.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So you're gonna. I registered this now, yeah.
I've got to end it, man. It's because the laptop is only 4 gig of RAM and it's really slow. So there we go. End the broadcast. End broadcast.